Hello and greetings everyone. Welcome to this week's Inquisition with our first Ouija chick, the Herbalistxiii, aka Kim. Hoping to get her on real soon. Just told them to make sure that app is updated so we don't have any Instagram issues like we always do because it's the Inquisition. I hope you're having a great week. That's nearly March finished, folks. This is our last Wednesday in March, so next week it'll be April. And we've got an absolutely stonking lineup next month for you. Some really good guests coming on, and it's going to be another great month. Shout out to our sponsors as always, Orange Brushes, and as always, Sage Scenics. Make sure you give them a follow, folks, and if you're buying brushes off of Orange Brushes, make sure you use Inquisition in capital letters and you'll get 10% off. Remember, I think it's free delivery in the UK as well. Definitely good brushes to get, folks. I use them all the time, and I've even been using them for rotagus. And I've been slowly working on this bad boy all week. I've not actually painted them since Monday. But yeah, definitely brushes to get, folks. Quality sable, cheap prices, and what is my dog doing? Isa. So yeah, what's everybody got planned for the weekend? Let's hope the weather's nice this weekend and we're not pissing the rain like we did last weekend, which was pretty sucky like. But what can you do? So yeah, we're just waiting for Casey and we'll wait for Kim, and then we'll get rocking and rolling and we should be good to go, folks. Absolutely good to go. I think I'm away on holiday in a week and a half's time, so Casey's got something planned for when he's going to take the reins himself for a week when I'm away sunning myself. Me and Mrs. Inquisition are away, can't wait. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So it'll be a quiet weekend this weekend as we're away next weekend. So yeah, that's us. We're doing Lent. If anybody does Lent, we've given up chocolate for 40 days and it's not going well. I'm craving a bar of chocolate. Do miss a wee chocolate bar of an evening, but yeah, it's just one of those things. The wife decided to do it, which automatically meant that I ended up having to doing it as well. I think she's suffering more with a lack of chocolate than what I am. So yeah, and he's actually nicer. Oh, and there he is there, Mr. Penge. How are you, mate?
On time. That's how I am. I love it.
And how's the child been this week? Has he been a good boy this week?
He's 6. He's a dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I must say, some of the reels I've sent you this week have been quite funny round about children.
Oh, that one yesterday. You can't be friends with a kid. Shut up, you div. I say that sort of stuff to him all the time, and it's like,
I instantly thought of you, and I think I sent you one earlier where it spelled out the word prick in alphabet, and I was like, it's definitely something Casey will do once he learns how to spell.
I forgot myself the other day, right? And he was doing something. He was being a dick, and instinctively, I went, oh, "Shut up, you dick." Walked out of his room. 2 seconds later, what's a dick?
Take a look in the mirror, that's what a dick is.
That's what I should have said. But my missus lost the plot. She was in hysterics, and I was like, oh, "I'm sorry. It's an adult word for Willy, and you're being a Willy. So stop it."
Oh, they're like wee sponges at that age where they hear something and they just start verbal
Yeah,
diarrheaing it out. It's quite funny, like.
that's the thing. You got to get on it. You got to get on it because otherwise they'll take it to the playground and start saying it, and you're just going to be like, ugh.
You're getting called in. So, John Joe has been calling all the other kids a dick. He says that you
Yeah,
call them a dick every day in school, at the house, and then before you know it, you're getting social services rapping on your door.
exactly. And I don't want the social coming around because they're dicks. So
Not again, anyway.
no, not again. Rain. Once you know what? Real story. It wasn't a social, but when I was a kid, Bernardo's knocked on the door collecting for charity. And my dad's turned around, he's grabbed me and my sister, he's dragged us to the front door and said, "Here you go, you can take these." The guy did not know what to do. Me and my sister didn't know what my dad was up to, so we're both standing there like, what the fuck? And the guy's just like, we collect for a children's charity. We don't collect children. Sorry, and just walked off. So
So,
here you go.
so thanks for joining us, Tiny. You went to a bit of a mental situation there. We were just chatting about how much we hate and love our kids. But this is weird because Casey's never on time. So it was actually weird that he was actually on before the guest, which was very weird. So,
Apologies, I am always late, so.
No,
aye,
that's more a dig at me than you. Don't worry.
Okay.
aye. Yeah, you're grand, Kim, you're grand. So, Kim, thanks for joining us tonight on the introduction. First question we asked to everybody, just before we do that, I'm going to give yourself a wee introduction on who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kim, and I do a bit of painting and trying to learn how to play the game still. Mostly Warhammer and 3D printing, but I'm recently kind of delving into hobby clubs and stuff like that. So I've been setting up a hobby club here in Glasgow, and that's been taking up a lot of my time. So I've not been doing much painting recently, to be honest.
So, what age were you? What was your first money and what got you into the old plastic crack?
So I'm fairly new to it. I started doing it during the pandemic. My husband had a box of Space Marines and Orcs and stuff like that. And I was really kind of looking for something to do during the pandemic and picked out that box and was like, what is this? What is Warhammer? And just kind of dived into, we got Age of Sigmar first. I think it was the Soul Wars box. And I started collecting Night Hunt and just went from there. It's just been kind of a snowball thing.
So, did you know that your husband dabbled in it beforehand? It was just like he accidentally left it out, so it was in within eye shot. Was it one of those
Uh,
ones?
well, he had mentioned it, but I wasn't aware what Warhammer was really. It was kind of, I knew it was a game, but I didn't know to what how big a thing it was. I didn't realise it was like a whole tabletop thing. And so I was totally unfamiliar with it and didn't really look into it beyond Age of Sigmar much. I didn't really look into 40k or anything like that. That came more later on when the Leviathan box came out. And I just decided to kind of explore that because it was new and it was a new edition and it seemed like a good time to get into it.
And were you always into kind of like that sort of thing, or was it just like just because of the pandemic that it was just something that you like kind of just naturally kind of picked up?
Well, I was big into video games, so I was playing loads and loads of video games, but it was getting a bit kind of repetitive and the same sort of stuff, and I just wasn't enjoying it the way I used to. So I was kind of in the market for something new. And hobby wise, with the pandemic, I was just willing to do whatever at the time just to keep me occupied. So yeah, it was kind of not something that I would have normally chosen, but it was too easy to get into, if you know what I mean. So once I started painting them, and then I discovered there was like a whole community and loads of people playing and painting these little models, I was like, wow, is this something that I had no idea about at all?
Yeah, it's that little bit of a gateway thing, isn't it? Especially computer games, because
Yeah.
I think as a gamer, you're so open to different sort of worlds and universes. So when you're introduced to something new like this, you can fall into it quite easily. Did you find that when you were taking your first baby steps into it, it wasn't like you were being too tentative? Did you jump in with both feet?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was kind of tentative at first, where when the first kind of round of me painting started during the pandemic, and I did that with like my husband's Marines, and we bought the Soul Wars box. But then I kind of stopped when everything started up again and everyone went back to work and stuff like that. I kind of fell away from it again. And then we moved to a new house and I bought the Leviathan box, and then it started like a huge kind of snowball effect. I bought that box, I painted all those, and then I was like, right, I want something new, and I started collecting sisters. And then I started to having a whole new army, and I was like, oh, I want something different now. I'm going to start collecting Thousand Suns, and it just kind of started that effect quite quickly.
I was going to say, looking at your account earlier today, because when Dunk gets a guest on and I haven't got a clue who they are, I always go away and do a little bit of research because I don't want to come into these blind and look like an absolute twat.
That's
But
fair.
I did notice your collection is extremely varied. You've obviously got all your different minis, you've got your busts
Yeah.
on there. What has been sort of like, as someone who is new and into getting into all of this, has it just been sort of like, this looks cool, I'm going to start collecting this? Or have you sat down and researched it and read a bit about it, tried to figure out what everything's about?
It's little bit from column A and a little bit from column B. So at the start, I was just kind of buying things that looked cool. So with the Night Haunt Army, it was purely that, just what looked cool. Then I started with the sisters. I bought the Combat Patrol box. So it was kind of a sort of start into the army, ready-made. And then from that point, I was starting to think about what could work as a list and stuff like that, trying to learn what the metas are and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not very good at all that, to be honest. So it kind of, sometimes I'll walk in and be like, oh, that's a really cool model. Yeah, I think I'm going to have that. Don't really care. I'll fit it in somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that's got to be the case when you look at some, like, the difference between sisters and the difference between Thousand Sons. Because rule-wise and law-wise, obviously, they're extremely different. But when you sit down and look at the minis, they are pretty sick, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Very, very cool minis. I think as well, my sister's army, they just got a big Nerf bat. So we're kind of not, I'm not that interested in playing them right now, and I'm kind of exploring other options. But I don't really want to start another army when I have two that I'm currently working on. So I'm trying to be good and not have three for one game.
Yeah, but you always need a third army, like, because fucking I'm Necron's Death Guard. I've now slowly accepted that I'm building a Nurgle Age of Sigmar army for some mad reason. And I've also got some Grey Knights kicking about in the background, so you need to have a wee bit of everything, I feel. So tell me, that's like, I mean, I don't live in like Paisley or Glasgow anymore. What's the hobby scene like up there now? Is it getting bigger now? Because you are a founder of a hobby club yourself.
Yeah, definitely. It's on the up for sure. There's lots and lots of wargaming clubs that have popped up, not even just in Glasgow, kind of across the Central Belt and up north too. And they're they're all kind of a good amount of members. I mean, because of the internet, everybody's connected and stuff like that. So they all kind of share and they meet up. There's some wargamers that meet up at the club that I'm at, and they have people coming down from Fife, and they've got a thing in Dumfries coming up. So it's like all over Scotland. I feel like it's really coming up.
What were you laughing at there, Casey, when she said up north?
Yes. As someone from London originally, now living in East Anglia, when a Scottish person says up north, that's kind of like everything to me is up north. And historically, being south of the River Thames, you cross the River Thames, that's up north. So yeah, that's you rumbled me there. Don't fuck you.
we were chatting about this about a week or two ago when he was saying he was going up north to see his relatives. Because his wife's from Sunderland or Newcastle, one of those macron places. And I said, well, technically that's kind of like the Midlands, because it's kind of like, well, it's not even north. It's just like
well, I mean, it is. It is basically.
Yeah, for you guys, it's south, isn't it? You know, it gets warmer the further down you go. When you cross that border, it's tropical.
That's also true. I mean, yeah. I can't argue.
So, how far into you, or how well are you into learning the rules of 40k?
So I think that if I was kind of led by the hand through a game, I could probably do it without getting too many mistakes. But I'm not that familiar with the changes to my army yet, because I kind of read them and was like, oh. So I think I would need to focus on that. But yeah, I think I could make it through a game fairly unhindered.
I always feel as though that they're always changing the rules, Casey, isn't it? Like, they're always changing the rules. So yeah, even if you do know the rules and you maybe go to a game, I've not played in like forever, to be honest. But when you do play a game, it's like, oh, well, you can't use that anymore. That's been nerfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is something I think, because again, I'm sort of Dunk's point of reference with a lot of stuff because I've been into this for donkeys, in and out. But even the change between when I was playing and chronically like third, fourth, fifth up until now, it's so different. And I think as a gamer as well, you'll appreciate this. And every couple of months there's that data slate and it feels like a patch. It feels like they're constantly changing and tinkering stuff. Whereas years ago, it was just, here's a rule book, off you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I suppose that's something that's good. But then again, like you say, then when you've got two armies and they bonk you with the Nerf hammer, you're just sort of like, oh, I don't want to play them anymore. And it does ruin it a little bit, I think, sometimes too. But
Well, that's it. It's not like you can just go and make a new character and get back into the game right away. You're talking about
yeah,
another new expense. Then you have to learn all that, paint it all as well. It's not that easy to kind of dip in and out of different armies. So, like you say, it is good to have a few on, but at the same time, it's so much to learn. I feel like sometimes it's like degree level stuff that you have to learn just to kind of know the basics, just to get through it. But it is attainable. It's just kind of finding the time to play it as well, because it does take quite a while to do the bigger games. But I'm trying to I want to do some more like kill team and stuff like that to kind of just get the hang of it a bit better on a smaller scale.
you say that, even kill team's completely different. So.
Well, yeah, well, that's true as well. It's just to kind of learn a smaller game and kind of get the fundamental stuff, I guess, just the basic stuff down.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, Doug.
Yeah, so I mean, it is like kill team. It took me ages to get a hang of the whole active and inactive. Like, can you just shoot somebody because you've seen them because the person's inactive? But I say I've not played it since 2024. Like, I've not played a game since November. I've just been so busy with other things. But anyway, this isn't about me. This is about the Ouija in the room. So, who's the better painter? Are you or your husband?
Me. But I say that because he doesn't like painting. He doesn't really bother with it. He'd rather just play the game. So he gets me to paint them.
You know what? As an aside thing, Don, that's something I think we found quite a bit when we've got guests who are in couples who play and paint together. There's always one that prefers the painting to the gaming, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And what I think it is really is that the husband or the male, right, is really happy that their partners picked this up, but then they become secretly jealous at how good that they are at painting. So then they just go, I don't really care about the painting anymore, because I know for a fact, right, if Geraldine started painting miniatures, I would hate her for being a better painter than me within about 2 weeks.
Could be. I'll need to ask him. Just outright. Is it just because you envy me?
That's what it is. Guaranteed. That's what it is deep down. He's pure raging that that you're actually a better painter. He's like, I don't care about it. I just want to play it now. I don't really care about the painting. I've been there and I've done that.
He's right at the pram.
But I can't remember what I was going to ask now. Fuck.
Sorry.
No, that's me. That's me.
So when I was going through your page as well, you've got a lot of different paint brands there. Is there a certain paint brand that you prefer, or is it just the colours or whatever that you? Because you've got a load of different.
Got quite a few, yeah. It's kind of I like some brands of colours better than others. But I started out like with Citadel and really old model colour ones that are like ancient. From like I think they were from my husband's Airfix kits. I'm not really sure. But I started using them and I was kind of like, I don't really like these ones. And then I bought the Citadel ones and I thought they were amazing. The first time I used them, I was like, wow, these are so great. But over time, I favour them less and less. I find myself replacing Citadel paints with other brands of paints. But I'm not really, like I like Vallejo and I like Army Painters the best, but it's dependent on the colours more than anything else. Because as I say, the consistency between them can vary quite a lot, even between the brands, like in their own brands. So it's more about the colours rather than the brands for me. So that's why I end up with loads of different ones.
Yeah, because I think we were discussing this, was it last week or the week before, where we're talking about like each person's got a different white brand that they prefer.
Yep.
What white?
So I like the Army Painter one. Yeah, I like the Army Painter one. People go on about the Citadel Corax White and stuff, but I've never had a pot of it that stayed normal for more than like a week. It goes like crusty and gross. I tend not to buy it, but yeah, no, I like the Army Painter Fanatic Matte White. It's the one I use all the time now, actually.
I've actually got one of them somewhere, but I got it in the Halo pack, so they called it something completely different. It weirded me out. Yeah,
it's exactly the same thing.
Exactly. This is the madness of Army Painter. They release so many different things, the same, but give it a different name, and you just like you get.
Yeah, you end up with so many duplicates of that if you buy I think the John Blanche one was a lot like that as well. It had quite a few colours that were already available, just with a different name.
We need to ask, when we get Adam back on for Army Painter, because he does want to come back on, we need to ask him what that's about, because that is a good question, which we'll probably forget to ask him, to be honest.
We'll probably be overly excited that he's come back on and it's like, oh shit, what do we do? I'm not quite sure.
So, but yeah, there was a big con there just before Christmas. Did you manage to get to that?
In Glasgow?
I think there's like a kind of wargaming. Somebody ran a wargaming event or something.
The Celtic Cup
one? Yeah, did you get to that?
So I was working at that one. I was volunteering as one of the staff during the painting competition.
And what was that like?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was honestly a proper eye-opener to the community. I've met some really good friends through that one event, and a lot of the people that we spoke to at that point wanted the hobby club, and that's how all that came around, because of the people that have attended that event. But no, that was honestly the best kind of event that I've been to. I've been to a lot of video game stuff, but not so much wargaming stuff. That was the first one. I seen a Blood Bowl event down at Nottingham, but I wasn't like that. But I wasn't at that into the hobby at the time. I was just kind of new, and I was just like, Warhammer World was this big, fantastic place, and I had no idea what I was doing. But this was the first time I had spent any real time with the community and other painters, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we got Ryan, aka Paint Party Scott, there saying the event was so good it burst his back. So,
yep.
So I think this is something that's interested me here, because I remember as a kid that, again, like club-wise, there wasn't much. I now live in an area where it's almost oversubscribed, where there's so many different places you can go and play. So as someone who's dove in now and created their own club, how hard has that been? How much work have you had to put into that?
Well, I'm not going to lie, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but if people want it, it makes it much more enjoyable setting it up, because they're encouraging and they're supportive, and that's really all you can ask for at the start. You know, you could be sitting there with just one person, or you're sitting there with 10 people. It doesn't really matter. Just the fact that people are willing to kind of come down is reward enough for me. Like I really enjoy that aspect of it, because it's really awesome to see people who have never met before sit alongside each other and paint for a little while and kind of build up a connection and become friends. It's really, really, really nice to see.
Sure. And how supportive have people been in helping out? Because obviously, like I say, I imagine it is a lot to take on. So have you had people jumping in and volunteering to help with, like the running of it as, like, if we're thinking about like a secretary, a treasurer, and all of those sorts of things, down to the very basic, someone will just turn up and paint a bit of terrain for you and say, here you go.
Well, luckily, because the ACBC club is already a kind of set up entity, I'm basically doing that on their behalf. So the club is called Glasgow Hobby Club, but we have it there, and it's kind of, I associate everything with that I do with the club through them. So that basically so that I don't have to do all that stuff, to be honest. It's much easier to just run it and do all that sort of stuff, and have other people running the actual charity, kind of focusing on all the important parts. That's the best part of the deal for me, anyway.
Yeah, sure. Now, we've had him on before, but friend of the show, Josh, aka Free Spires Gaming, runs his own club in, I don't know, near Stoke, somewhere there. But I know, for example, that he's gone off and he's approached Games Workshop and managed to get stuff out of them, approached some companies, gone and gotten some paint kits, some minis, various bits and bobs. Have you had any joy doing that sort of stuff? Have you considered doing it if you haven't? I
have reached out to a couple of companies looking for some sponsorships for us on behalf of the charity, and so far nothing. But it's kind of, we get kind of funding. They get funding through kind of other avenues, and so they're funding our kind of hobby club through that. But it would be really great if there was companies out there that were willing to do that for us, just to kind of, all the kind of tools and the paints and stuff like that are the things that we go through the most. So, if Army Paint are out there listening, please reconsider. But that sort of stuff is definitely, I do that fairly regularly, trying to kind of more to introduce us to the wider community and the companies that are available, just to let them know, hey, look, we are here and there's a great thing happening down at this club and you should know about it. So it's more that aspect that I kind of get in touch with them for now.
What would be the age demographic be of the club? Is it a lot of kind of people that have kind of left the hobby and came back, or is it quite a lot of young people now?
It's a really wide vary. So during my nights, we have some veterans that come to the club that are to do with the ACVC club. So we get quite a wide range of ages. We have some that bring their kids. So if there's kids over 10, I don't mind that. That's absolutely fine. But we've got people, honestly, from like 10 years old to like 90. It's a really, really wide vary. And because we don't just do Warhammer, we do like anything that is miniature hobby, we get lots of different types of hobbyists as well. So there's people that are interested in doing woodwork, and there's people that are interested in laser cutting, and there's people that are wanting to do 3D printing and all that sort of stuff. They do pottery. There's a huge, massive kind of variation of what you can do there creatively.
Because I've seen that in one of your stories, you were asking for old D&D stuff.
That's right, yeah.
If you want, just ask, if you put a wee plug for that now, if you want.
Yeah, so
otherwise.
we're doing weekly D&D. We've got a DM who comes in and brings everything along with them, which is fantastic and excellent. But it would be great if we could have some player handbooks that people could use instead of having, if they don't have an app or they don't have the laptop with them, instead of us sharing them, basically. Because Don brought a couple of books with him that were all his own, so we were kind of moving them around a bit. But it would be great if we had some player handbooks and like monster manuals and things like that just to work from initially, because we have things like access to characters and access to terrain and stuff like that if we want to use it. But as we're kind of just doing these one-shots, we want to keep it kind of simple. So if we can just have people turn up and we've got dice and we've got books and all that sort of stuff for them, they don't need to worry about if they've never played before or they've not played for a few years. Like I hadn't played for, I don't know, like 20 years or something like that before last week, and we all had a great time because most of us were returning players or new players.
Yeah, I mean, I'll reach out to a few people that we've had on that are dungeon masters, and
that would be great. Thank you.
We'll ask them if they've got anything that's kind of just lying about collecting dust. Because we're in a few Discords as well. Because Casey's obviously down south, and I'm in Ireland, so between us, we should be able to get you at least one.
Oh, we just need somebody Welsh.
No, really, we'll just leave the sheet.
You're saying that? I don't think we've actually had a Welsh guest on, though.
But do we really want a Welsh person on? Ratatouille. You know what I mean? Do we really want that? Ian Beale. You know what I mean? That's my Welsh accent. It ends up turning into an Indian or Pakistani accent.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't bother doing it again.
No, I don't want us to get cancelled on Instagram again, because that would be ridiculously harsh. So what nights does your club run then?
So right now we're doing Thursday nights, and that's just kind of painting and hobbying and all sorts of stuff. Like tomorrow night I've got a speed painting challenge for them. So I've primed up a load of minis from Stormcast and Space Marines, and it'll be like an hour. You get a couple of paints, and you've got I think it's 4 paints they get, and you've got to do something like that. But that's the sort of stuff we do. But you can just come along and sit and paint. It's just kind of more the socialising side of it, because most people that we spoke to before we set this up were saying how isolated they felt just sitting at home painting. And while there is online hobby groups and people meeting on Discord and doing stuff like this, there wasn't anywhere for people to actually just hang out, and that wasn't like really costly, or you didn't have to rent a room or any of that stuff, just somewhere that you could go that was community space where they had everything that you needed to paint. And so that's what we did. That's what we put up. So
cool. Moving on, your bust work, I have to say, it again caught my eye, and I appreciate anyone that can take the work they do on something yay big and translate it onto something much bigger, and have to be that little bit more thoughtful about the creative process. How have you found that transition from going from small to big? And this is something I ask everyone, but it's always interesting because sometimes we get different answers.
So that there's a kind of, it's a double-edged sword because, well, you do have more space to kind of work with stuff and more space to kind of work on your layers and graduate things and stuff like that. You see the mistakes much clearer than you would on a little mini. So it's good, it's great, and it does feel easier. But as I say, if you make one kind of little mistake on a mini that's, pea size, your naked eye is not really going to see that. But if it's, something like this size, you might actually notice that that's got, there's a blob there, or there's a streak or whatever, or the eyes are a little bit cross-eyed, So that sort of stuff is much more noticeable. But I do find it easier to do all your blending and doing a little bit more technical stuff than I do on the little tiny models, because my eyesight's not what it used to be.
I don't think anyone's is. Mine's terrible. I should wear glasses, but I never do. So with respect to like your painting then, because I also noticed you do some commission work as well. How have you found that and sort of the baby steps into doing all of that sort of stuff?
It's been okay. There's been some kind of interesting ones. There's been a lot of good ones, and there's been a lot of hard ones as well. So my last one was for Space Wolves, and that was a real difficult one because I haven't done them before for a first. But they wanted them to be like half done. I don't know how they didn't want the decals on them, and they didn't want them permanently stuck to the base. So it was kind of like that, and I was a bit like, okay. And I've had a lot of people that inquire and go all the way to almost paying, and then they don't follow through it. That was probably been my biggest one. That the thing that I run into the most is people kind of setting up a commission and then not following through with it. But the majority of the time, I try to just take things on that are quite simple. Just the simple. I would like this bust painted like this. Can you do it? Yes. That's what I would much. That's the perfect ones, but they are very far and few between. A lot of people have, very strict ideas about what they want, and I'm rubbish at sticking to the rules when it comes to being creative. So it is quite difficult, and I can't see myself doing it for that long in the future, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And is it something that you just do yourself? You don't sort of take on projects on behalf of like companies that do it and do any freelancing for them?
No. I'm doing things for the ACVC club at the moment on their behalf, but not from companies online and stuff like that. No, mostly because I just don't have the time at the moment to do commissions and things like that. I don't even have the time to paint stuff that I want to paint. So it's kind of, I'd be pretty shitty to accept any commissions just now, most of all.
Yeah.
So when you're not painting, or when you can't get to paint, what do you like to do to unwind?
I'm kind of like just watch a movie, something kind of nonsense on the TV, or stick some old TV shows on. That's kind of my main one, other than painting. But like I can't stay up past 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So like when I'm coming in at like 7 o'clock or something like that, I'm ready for my bed. If the club doesn't finish till 10 on Thursdays, so I'm straight home to my bed after that.
Yeah,
I get most of my painting done during the morning, so.
Yeah, I'm starting to get like that myself. Once it's like 9 o'clock, it's like I'm an old man now. I actually my beauty sleep. What kind of games did you like? What kind of games do you like to play?
So back in the day, I played a lot of Warcraft. So I was heavy into Warcraft, and then I had like a little spate of time just kind of playing shooter games like Call of Duty and Overwatch and all that sort of stuff. But really honestly, WoW was like the game I played for maybe 15 years or something like that, and that was my go-to. This is the first time, actually, the first year I would say that I've not played it at all. I haven't played it since the summertime, I think. So it's kind of, I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time to do any of this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It was a game I never got into.
No?
Oh, mate.
Oh, you
what?
missed out.
Wow.
It was a ride.
WoW had some of my funniest gaming moments ever in it. And
Absolutely.
yeah, it's one of those ones where it's not what happens in the game, it's who you're playing it with.
Yeah, totally. I think it's definitely not the game it used to be since they've taken a lot of the social aspects. Kind of everyone uses Discord and stuff like that now, so it's kind of like just and solo play is a big thing on it now too. So it's kind of not the social game that it used to be. I definitely missed the Lich King kills and stuff like that the first time around, or doing like the big boss fights and everybody in the guild just going off their head.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah, a little independent guild I joined, which was basically me and my mates and mates' girlfriends. We got one of the first raid kills on, I can't remember, Cataclysm.
Nice.
The first on our server, we got the first server kill for the first raid boss. And considering we were just a bunch of idiots, we were over the moon. And then after that, it all went to pot because our main tank's PC blew up mid raid. So
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, it was beautiful. Beautiful time.
Leroy Jenkins.
But I tell you what, you've mentioned Overwatch there, right? And I think this is something, because games like Overwatch, Dota, and all the other sort of things, I think I've seen a shift in change in how 40k has been played to sort of fit those games more. So you've got like your main capture points, your various little mini objectives that you've got to go off and do. Whereas years ago, it was just a case of you set an army up, I set an army off, we just smash into each other and see who wins.
Yeah.
How have you found learning a game like 40k when you know those sorts of games inside out and you know, right, you can control this, you do that, you get this, you get that?
It definitely helps to kind of understand those sorts of mechanics. But I think it's hard to kind of see it on the flat surface like that and translate it. It took me a while to kind of figure out, like, this is just objectives. This is just like the payload and all that sort of stuff. It took me a minute to kind of make that connection. I was like, oh, I get it now. Like, I get what we're trying to do. It's not just like go forward and shoot the other guy. I have to do all this stuff. So it definitely helped having an understanding of that. Yeah.
I think, like I say, from someone who's sort of been in and out so much, coming in later and now trying to game in 10th, I've sort of clocked that seems to be the competitive angle of it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I've just sort of noticed. I don't know if anyone else has ever. If you have in the chat, tell us, because then great, I'm not alone. But yeah, sorry, Doug, I've jumped in.
No, man, you're perfectly fine. I know nothing about World of Warcraft apart from
Again,
Henry Cavill played it and nearly lost a part of Superman because he played it. Is that who it's played?
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he said he was playing World of Warcraft that much that he was ignoring his phone, and it was his agent telling him that he was getting the job, that he was getting the Superman job, and then when he finally answered the phone, he became Superman.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
So then,
all I know, and I've watched the film, which I thought was good. What did you think of the film?
I thought it was all right. It felt the scale of like the Stormwind and stuff felt a bit off, but
yeah.
I guess it's maybe just lost in translation because they had to fit it in or whatever. But no, the scale of it was a bit off, but they did okay. It was good fan service. I feel like if you hadn't played the game, I don't know that you would have really enjoyed it that much. You might have just been a bit like, what's going on?
I think I would have. I enjoyed it because the fact that I didn't know the universe, so I'm not that kind of invested in. Oh, they did this wrong, and that's not what that guy would have said, and that's not the sort of acts that he would have carried. Like, I'm terrible for that with Star Wars, so I wouldn't have been as invested in. But I did enjoy the film. I actually was looking forward to a sequel, which was disappointing and never did.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised it never got picked up again. I thought it was fairly well received.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like I say, it was a right movie. Like, it was a good kind of sit down with your popcorn and watch it. I liked all the fan service and stuff like that. It's all right. I would have watched the second one as well.
I would have watched it all the way up until they tried to figure out how to make films out of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because I think a bit like the Warhammer stuff, the lore in it is so well written, so well done. It's a shame they didn't do more, because I think it would have been nice to see what's his name become Lich King and stuff. But we missed out.
What's his name?
What is his name? See, this is it. I played it that long. I can't remember. Arthas? Was it Arthas?
Arthas. Yeah.
Hey,
Arthas.
remember something? Fucking hell.
So, oh yeah. So just to go off topic a wee bit, right? Because I've kind of blanked myself on what question I was going to ask you. I've actually forgot. This is why I should be writing things fucking down, man. And this is why I'm the wrong side of 45.
I need
But
to write everything down, or that's it. It's gone
when
instantly.
when Little Miss Kim is having a wee munchie on a weekend, what's a wee packet of crisps that you would like to munch into?
I get crisps. I am a classic like salt and vinegar, cheese and onion type person. I
Any
don't like to
particular
get too
brand?
fancy. No, I'm not bothered. I don't really mind. I don't like you know, like Morrison's own brand salt and vinegar crisps. They are like acid. I don't know what they put on them, but they like burn
Acid.
the inside of your mouth.
I
It's
have to try,
horrendous.
I have to try them. I like a overpowering salt and vinegar
Oh,
crisp, so I'm going
oh,
down to
you love
Morrison's tomorrow.
them. You will love them.
And when you're washing it down, what's the alcoholic beverage and non-alcoholic beverage of choice?
Right, so non-alcoholic is Brew always and
Oh,
forever. Um, alcoholic beverage. See, I don't really drink at all, really. I maybe take a beer. If it's the summertime, definitely a beer.
nice.
Good choice. Can I ask you both something here, just because you've brought it up, right? Iron Brew.
Yes.
The other day, I got some food shopping in, and for some reason, there was a free can of Iron Brew in it.
Oh, nice one.
It was the sugar-free,
Ooh,
what do they call it? Extra. And I
ooh.
have to say, it tasted like absolute shite.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nasty.
As traditional Scottish people, should they be fucking around with Iron Brew like that?
Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
No.
But my wife's diabetic, so she likes to have a
Um,
wee diet iron brew. She doesn't like the diet brew extra. She thinks that's like them trying to
that's,
do a Pepsi Max.
Hmm.
But
I see the diet iron brew, that's fine. That's okay. That doesn't have the weird taste that the extra stuff does. I don't know what it is. It must be something they put in it. But it definitely tastes weird. Diet iron brew is okay. That's fine. But the
Okay.
extra stuff, not.
Because
and the only way to drink iron brew properly is out a glass bottle that's been absolutely chilled to the maximum you can
Yes,
ask for.
yes, absolutely.
With a rolling sausage, a rolling square
Wow,
slice.
yes. That was my
Delicious.
breakfast yesterday.
I my wife's dad came over for a few days because my wife's also from Paisley, and he brought over some square sausage, so we had that for our breakfast.
Oh,
It was
amazing,
lush.
amazing.
Because especially when you find your own butcher, when you find a butcher that you like their square sausage, because all butchers are different with their square
Yep,
sausage. Once
yep.
you find that butcher, that's it.
This year is you're made for life if you find that guy.
Yeah, and then once he dies, it's like losing a family friend. Well, losing a family, actually, to be honest with you.
That is, do you know the thing is, see the family butchers in Glasgow, they're all going away. It's like everybody buys their Lorne sausage from bloody Morrison's or
But they're
Asda.
shite compared to butchers, actual butcher stuff. Because
Mhm.
my wife brought some back for Morrison's, and it was like no, there was no fat coming off it at all. It was ridiculous.
No,
how
I know
dare
it's
it be
like
healthy?
sawdust.
Yeah, how dare they? How dare they try and make our
I
hearts
know.
fat, Lord?
How dare they? The cucumber.
Says the man drinking fucking piss water, Budweiser.
I had an aside earlier, so that's just it's all I've got left now.
No.
Uh,
Yeah. Scottishness, right?
Mhm.
This is something I was thinking about the other day. Because Stone loves a Scottish guest because he gets to rant about me being a soft Southern fairy and shit. But do you find when you like you like not even I suppose actually yeah in hobby groups as well I suppose when you get together and you're doing your games and stuff and it's all fun and games and it's great and then the moment someone not Scottish pops up and joins in like if you got some uh, expat Brits or whatever in your gaming group do you find you sort of switch it up a bit more that you're like I'm not fucking losing to this twat I am
So we've got quite a mix of people in the hobby group. We've got English people and Irish people and all that sort of stuff. So no, not really. But having said that, when I went to England and went to Warhammer World, it definitely rose up a little bit, just a little bit, just a tiny bit, and it was only because I was over the border. I'll put it down to that because normally I'm not like that.
yeah.
And I know
Sometimes.
you're a proud Scot as well, so
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
something when you step over that, when you say you're now leaving Scotland, you feel as though you're invading England and you want to like chop some heads and bring them
It's
back,
just
bring them back to Stirling Castle and just proudly display
um,
your
your face
feathers.
going blue.
Yeah, just screaming freedom going down the like. Because when I was, as people don't know, I used to be in the army. But people, I've not mentioned
don't
that in
bring it up
ages,
every week.
fucking ages. Not mentioned that in ages. Or battle masters.
No,
Uh, Whenever we fought like an English battalion, like in mock war games, you would always try harder when you were fighting English. You would
Of
always like,
course, I think
you
I
would
think it's like
always,
natural a little bit, just healthy competition.
yeah.
Healthy competition.
Especially when
fair enough. Right.
you're a jock bastard and you'd be saying, yeah, English, wanker.
All good banter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's banter. If anyone asks, it's good banter, but not racist. So this is something that we like to ask as well. Obviously, I'm going to have to reword the question. Your
Okay.
full Scottish breakfast, what is a must-have on it, and what are you ditching off it and you can't stand?
So I don't mind all items on a Scottish breakfast, but if I had to lose anything, the egg. I'm not that fussed about eggs. I'm not really that bothered.
Is it the flavour, the textures? What are we talking about? Because eggs is
It's
a
the
weird one.
fried it's the fried egg aspect. It's the texture. You're just not a fan.
But would
But everything
you
else is
have
good.
it?
That can all stay.
Would you have it scrambled or poached or something different?
I would have it scrambled. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like about scrambled egg. Like how do you like your scrambled egg, Casey and Kim? Because there's different ways that people have scrambled egg. Like
Yeah.
there's people like the eggs like runny as though that it's just been shot out, and there's other ones that like it like it's rubber and you can actually use it as a bouncy ball or a squash ball.
So like somewhere in the middle, like not just post jetting, and not rubber. So like somewhere in the middle. But my husband's a chef, so I get him to make scrambled eggs because I can't cook. To be honest, I'm really shit at cooking. That's why I married him. So
And when you found out he was a chef with his follow-up line, "How do you like your eggs in the morning? Fertilised."
oh no, I probably wouldn't have stuck about it if he'd said that.
What about you, Casey? How do you like your scrambled eggs?
See, I for years grew up on Irish scrambled eggs where they would put half a pint of milk into it, and it was yeah. So when I started making them myself, no milk, and it is that sort of mixture of not quite overcooked, not quite undercooked. You've got to get it perfectly right. Because my lad is standard. He fucking loves eggs. And most mornings he's not at school breakfast club. He is having scrambled egg for breakfast. And I think it's partly my fault because I used to make it for him all the time when he was tiny. It was the only thing I could get him to eat, and he hasn't ever grown out of it. But omelets as well, I would say, are always underlooked.
Mm-hmm.
I've had omelets, apart from this morning to had square sausage, I've had omelets every day for my breakfast and 2 bits of bacon this week. And it is a top tier breakfast. Or even a dinner with some chips in it.
Yeah, tips. You can never beat anything better in London than a dirty, greasy spoon that does omelette and chips. And the omelet's like the size of the fucking plate.
A big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Casey, I'm pure
You're
blank.
still brain fried over there. Right. Here's the question, and this is something I thought of earlier today. Kim, you use the name Herbalist13, XII, however you want to. Have you called yourself that because you're like a smoker to pancake? You like visiting Amsterdam, a little bit of the sticky stuff, or is it just
Smoking a pancake?
you not watch? It's weed terminology.
It's
I've never heard that. I've never heard smoking a pancake.
smoking a pancake.
Smoking a pancake.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
that's
Maybe.
Austin Powers, right?
Yeah, gold member. You've not seen the third Austin Powers film?
Oh, that was like years and years ago, though.
A smoking a pancake. Yeah. So it is, yes. But also, like it's to me, it sounds cool. So the 13 thing is, my husband used to use that as his name on it on, I think it was MySpace.
Right.
It was a long time ago, and I used to think that was so cool. So I was like, I just started using it and didn't tell him. And he was like, hang on a minute, that's my old internet handle. It's just different at the start though, so it's
See,
fine.
that's quite sweet though. That you didn't want to let them forget that, and you took it on yourself. Because MySpace days, like you look back on them, your original social media account, life was so simple back then.
Wasn't it? It was such a beautiful, simple time back then. I loved it back then. Your top eight. What
Yeah, you top
drama
eight.
you create from that, eh?
You get someone walk up to you in the pub, you're like, "Why haven't you added me on MySpace?" It's like, "What the fuck? We're in real life. What are you
You
doing?"
don't need to do that. We're right here.
Yeah,
You're in my fucking space, man. Move.
but yeah, that did intrigue me there. So we won't go into that much further because obviously this is a safe stream. We're not getting anyone cancelled, but it was just a silly thought that I had. So
But you're
from there,
correct. So, like, yeah.
it was a good guess. It was a good guess, an educated guess. So with respect, if we go back on to talking about your hobby and stuff and your gaming stuff and
Yeah.
everything, because we are primarily a hobby podcast. Are we a podcast? I don't know what we are. Someone challenged me the other day and said you're like a weekly show now rather than a podcast or a stream. I was like, are we? I don't know. Just a chat.
Just two fannies that chat to people and then forget what they're going to ask them and then expect the other one to hold the thought.
That's why it's two of
each other. It's beautiful.
What is the shirt behind you? There you go. That's something that's annoying me now. What is it?
So, you know the Celtic Cup that you guys were talking about? Let me grab it.
Pardon you?
Grab it. You see my pajamas as well. So this was the staff t-shirts from the Celtic Cup. And we've got our little sponsors here. This is Reaper Gaming, a guy called Dave, Reaper Gaming, that set all this up and asked some of us to volunteer, and he let us keep our shirts. So I've got my name on it too.
Should get that in a frame rather than
keepsake.
Yeah, put it in a frame rather than just hanging it up.
Yeah, man.
Sorry?
Put it in a frame.
I know I should. I haven't really got around to it yet, but I will put it up in the frame. But yeah, I'm going to keep it. I've got like some other memorabilia from it, some pins and stuff too.
Cool. So that event then, talk us through it. How did you find, volunteering, being staff? Did you find it quite intense?
No, honestly, it was from start to finish, right? It was a lot of work. It was hard work. But it was really enjoyable. All of it was really enjoyable. Like all the setting everything up and seeing it all kind of start as an empty hall. And then by the end of the day, it being packed with people, that was really satisfying to kind of be involved in.
And it's on again this year, is that right?
Yeah, it's on again in November. I think the tickets are due to go on sale soon. I think I posted about it today. But they're November 20 something. It's on my Instagram, so you should check that out.
Oh, we'll plug that one.
Oh, definitely. And where is that? Is that in Braehead or is it in the?
It's in Pollock Shieldsborough Hall, I think it is. It's in the same place as it was last year. It's like a kind of community hall type thing, but they pack loads of people in there. I think it was like 100 players or something the last time. They're also having an event in Dumfries in September the 19th, which is a huge event. That's like 250 players that are playing that weekend.
You're going to be volunteering for that one, or?
Yeah. Plan to, yeah.
You must have been shattered after it because it would have been on a pretty intense full day. I mean, what time did you arrive there and what time did you finish up at?
So we started on Friday that we were just like helping kind of set up and things like that and hanging out and getting the paint and stuff sorted. Then it was all day Saturday and all day Sunday, but it was, like I say, it was tiring, but it went so fast. So by the time like nighttime was rolling around, you were like, wow, a way home, like on a wee high, like really hyped up for it. And it was the same, like once the event was over as well, we were in the group chat just like really pumped about it and being really good friends, and that was great. It was great spending time with you guys, it was really good. So I expect it'll be the same this time around.
And are you looking to get to any events or any Comic Cons this year?
I don't know about this year, maybe towards the end of the year, but next year I'm definitely going to be going to a few. I definitely want to go to Salute, and I want to go to ChillCon, and I want to go to the Games Expo in Birmingham and stuff like that. So I'm planning on making next year more conventions and stuff like that.
I would just advise you about so that you might see a wild Casey
Oh,
in the wild, pretty drunk. 'Cause that's what him and his Josh did last year, was it? You just get pretty
Me
drunk.
and
that's
me,
fun.
Rob, me and Rob, aka Cattle Rabbit Studio. Um, we both love the stuff, but at the same time, for us, it's like a little bit of it's a weird one because you see it for me when you go to these things. I did a Star Wars thing donkeys ago, and I got there early, and I queued up for an hour to get in, and it was just sort of standing there like could have done something else, could have waited to go a bit quiet, and so on and so forth. So when Rob messaged me and suggested let's meet up, he looked at me and was like, "There's no way I'm standing in the queues for this. Let's go for a drink first." I was like, "All right," and we got absolutely blasted. Like
Ah,
11 o'clock in the morning, got absolutely smashed, and then wandered into Salute off our heads. We were jumping on people. We were tipping paint stands over here, there, and everywhere when we were seeing people we knew. So yeah, if you go next year, you'll probably see me stumbling around like some sort of homeless person who's gotten lost, and yeah.
I'll be sure to say
But
hello.
yes, but they are fun. They are fun. I will say that it's nice to get out there and also see people in the flesh,
Mm.
because I think especially for where the Instagram and Twitch and all of that sort of side of it is so large, when you do have an eye on people and you like what they put out, it's nice to actually sort of just bump into them.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's the main reason that I would like to go with them. Like I've been to Comic Cons and stuff like that in the past, the one at the SECC, and I think I'm doing something with that one in September too, but I don't know what dates it is, so I need to check that. But the Comic Cons are always a great place to kind of just see the kind of community side of it and meet your friends that maybe you haven't met on from online that are in the local area that you wouldn't necessarily want to meet on your own. Like you want to do it in a group kind of setting, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's difficult to meet people that you've been talking to online and stuff like
yeah,
that. So that's a perfect sort of place to do that.
it is. 'Cause, I mean, going back to WoW, I remember some of guild members that used to live in Norway coming over
Yeah.
and visiting us, specifically for the fact that they enjoyed playing with us, so they wanted to meet us, and it was kind of like, okay, if you want. And again, all we did was get smashed, but
Yeah.
it was nice to actually be able to put faces to the names and stuff. So it is always fun for that respect.
I
I
think
actually,
that's
I
always
actually,
been my thing.
I
Sorry.
actually did that. Well, I used to play Counter Strike back in the day, and I had my own, like I was part of a clan, and we used to like train like 2 or 3 nights a week and playing like European ladders and that. And we
Mhm.
decided that one year that we would all meet. So we decided that the best place to meet would be Blackpool. So me and this random Scottish guy from Glasgow, I met him in he worked in Glasgow Uni. I met him. He drove down in his car. Two guys came over. One guy came over from Holland. Two guys came over from Belgium. Four guys came up from London. There was about 12 of us in Blackpool. One of the Belgian guys brought over a shitload of beer for everybody as well. And then we went to play. We went paintballing, and then we went and we took poppers and some Blackpool distro and got absolutely smashed out our faces. That was pretty bizarre. And the thing is as well, like we've all met people online, right, that we didn't know what they looked like, but you listen, you hear their voices, and then you look at their gamer tag. How weird is it seeing what they actually look like compared to
Yeah.
what you think they're going to look like?
Yeah,
Definitely. We had the guild's New Year's party in our house once, so like people came up from down south and we'd a guy came from Holland as well, and it was like complete strangers, but complete strangers you knew. I don't know
yeah,
how to describe it. It was we'd spend like 8 hours a day at points with these people, like 2 and 3 times a week, and knew them really well, and then all of a sudden they were all stood in my living room and I was like, oh, this is really weird. This is really strange. But then now it's so normal for people to just meet online and hang out as friends and just like do communities and stuff like that. It's quite comforting now to know that that's available to people out there.
It's kind of like me and Casey. Like, we've never met each other. We didn't know each other until 2 or 3 years ago, and now we do this. And I pray that we never meet because it would ruin the friendship.
yeah. That's it. We'll meet. We'll actually realise, oh, don't like each other. Fuck this
Say
then.
never meet your heroes, you know.
So, am I your hero, Dunk, or are you mine? I don't know.
Well, you know, I think we're each other's heroes, to be honest.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Gaylord.
JKB Prince man, thanks for joining us, pal. You've been an absolute legend. Been
See you later, James.
really in with the chat and that. Thanks for popping in, pal. So, where would you like to see the club go within the next year?
Oh, within the next year, I would like to see it so that we have like full packed every Thursday and every Monday with themed. Really, honestly, I would like to work on the Mondays because my Thursday nights they're doing great. Everybody knows about them. Everybody's aware. But I would like my Monday nights to be like all sorts of games. So all tabletop games, D&D, some Warhammer's games too, like AOS and 40k, but other things that are kind of off the wall stuff. So we've got like an Indiana Jones tabletop game that we can play, and we've got a Only Fools and Horses one. We've got loads of really obscure games, and I would like to focus on introducing that sort of thing to people who maybe have only played like Warhammer or D&D, because there's lots of cool new stuff that is coming out that are simple, straightforward, kind of one-shot games that you can sit down with like 2 to 4 people and just play them in an evening. You don't need to learn how to play it, you just read the instructions and off you go. So I'd like to kind of create that sort of environment where it's not play testing as such, but just offering a kind of a bigger variation of what's available to play on tabletop.
Take it back a second. An Only Fools and Horses game.
Yes. So I haven't actually looked at it yet. I've only seen the box, but it looks like.
Is there a chandelier involved?
Oh, I hope so. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's just a tabletop game that you play. Only Fools and Horses, rules and characters and things like that. We've got loads of stuff, and we've got an alien one as well that we're looking to get some players to do. I just like to see the tabletop stuff being explored beyond Warhammer, because when I first joined it just seemed like it was just the Warhammer community, but there is a huge, huge tabletop community that I haven't really tapped into yet that I would like to get involved in.
And you think it's just getting word of mouth out there that there is this community, and then once people find it, they will come. If you build it,
absolutely,
people will come.
Absolutely, I can agree more. It's there, and it will continue to be there, and the people will come eventually. We've had a great success so far. Like, we're kind of averaging about 10 to 12 people a night for the painting and stuff like that, which was way more than anticipated. I was sure I was going to be sitting there myself, maybe 1 or 2 people for quite a while, but people have been really into it, which has been great. And there's lots of local people as well, which I had no idea. There's a guy that lives like down the road from me that's paints, and we've been living down the road from each other for ages and had no idea that we were both doing the same thing. So things like that is kind of why I'm doing it, like just experience something new, meet some new people, and I get to enjoy watching that happen.
Now, you say it's in where is your community? It's in Cardonald, is it?
So I live in Cardonald, but the club's in Ibrox.
So you get many Neds hanging about?
Nah.
No.
So it's kind of in an industrial park. You know where Rangers Park is?
Yeah.
It's literally in the industrial park next door to that. So when there's football on, the traffic's horrendous. So I try to kind of not do anything when there's football on. We got caught out one week, a couple of weeks ago with the fucking Euros or something. I don't know. But whenever that sort of stuff's on, it can get busy. But there's no nets.
No nets.
No nets.
What's the slang? Come on, what's in it?
So a ned's a young troublemaker.
Like a chav.
Oh, a you. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the London version of you.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you ever watch Still Game, Casey?
A long time ago.
Right, there's Neds and that, they speak like that and all that. No, my uncle was a great member of this community. No, he wasn't. That's a Ned.
Yep.
They all speak through their nose for some mad reason.
Bit like Rapsy Nesbitt.
Yeah. Well, he was like an older version of an Ed.
Yeah.
He was an Ed dad.
He was an Ed dad, he was an old JK dad. So what are you working on this now yourself?
So I've got some miniatures that I'm doing for Glasgow Wrestling Club that I have to finish this week for them. I've got one of them here on the desk. So it's their characters for their mascots.
Oh.
So they've got a phoenix and a monkey and a cat and some other ones. So I'm going to be painting them up. I've been running behind on it with them because I've been busy this week with the club, but I'm going to get them done this week to get them out to them. So I'll have pictures of them on my Instagram. What else am I working on? I'm doing this guy as well for the club. So this is a Native American man. We're going to be painting him up, but he's not. He's just been primed and has just started his face. I haven't really been painting much lately because, like I say, I've just been busy with the club and haven't got any projects. I haven't had time to buy anything, which is unusual.
Now, I see that you've got a fair bit of ink in your left arm. Are you covered in tattoos?
No, this is just a recent addition. I've started doing this one. This is Lord of the Rings. We've got Andoril and Evenstar, and we've got the Hobbit Hollow and the Ring. I have got some other tattoos, just nothing like this. This is like the midlife crisis one, you know.
Yeah.
It's like your 40s and you have to get something. So this is my midlife crisis tattoo.
Yeah, my wife's getting my wife's covered in tattoos. Well, not covered, but she's got a fair few tattoos, and she's way older than me by about 9 months, and
Way older.
Wow.
way older. Yeah, as I've said to her before, and I'll keep saying it. When I was getting pushed in, she was getting pushed out. There's an image for you, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and she took that. Well, she did, but the older she's getting, the less she cares about what people kind of see her as. So she's getting more tattoos that you can actually see. Like she's got both her arms pretty much done, and she's now starting to get stuff done on her legs. And I can say that because she's not actually in the house right now, so I'm not going to get stabbed
That's
when
fair.
I come off.
Yeah,
Yeah, she probably hurt me though.
I feel that. Like I definitely have grown up and really don't give a shit now. So I'm just doing what works for me. And well, I had the money. I wouldn't have had the money to do that when I was in my 20s, that's for sure. But like, it's just a bit easier now that I'm a grown up with money.
Grown up with money, that's brilliant. Are you any plans for any more tattoos than this?
Yeah. So I've got, this is like my good side, and on this side, I'm gonna get I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but it's gonna be the evil side of Lord of the Rings. I've got a really good tattooist that designed this for me. So she's got all my ideas and she's gonna make something for me. Just don't know when yet.
And is that your Chinese order in your other arm there, is it?
It is. No, that's on my back. This is wee stars. It's just a wee silly one. I think I got that when I was about 17, to be honest. That's a really old one. I've got one on my neck as well.
How
A couple
sore,
on my back.
how sore was that in the neck?
It wasn't. It was unpleasant, but it wasn't as bad as getting this done. This was horrendous. This is
Casey,
horrible.
Casey, I can't remember, but do you have many tattoos?
I have 0 tattoos, Duncan.
None at
It's
all.
none at all. No, it's something that we have discussed, but my problem is I like too many things that I can't decide what to get, and I don't want to rush in get something that I'll end up regretting. So my body is still a blank canvas, apart from the warts, which we don't talk about. But yeah, no, it is something that I've sort of wanted to do for a long time. My partner's got tattoos, and she's getting one touched up and expanded on in a couple of weeks. But yeah, for me, like I know loads of people with them, and I know loads of people who've sort of said, encouraged me, like if I want to get one, get it done. But it's just, I can't decide.
Indecisive.
And we did have a joke once that one of my mates would get me tattooed on his back, but it never happened. So that's always kind of let me down.
Oh, that's disappointing.
We should get.
Like
We should
Steve-O.
get
You
Casey
say
and
that.
tattoo.
Steve-O, where Steve-O's got himself on that up his back. That's what he was going to get done, and he bowled it. So that kind of put me off. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Minecraft.
We should get matching tattoos that I love Dunk and I love Casey tattoos.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
Because you can blag it. You can be like, oh yeah, Casey's an ex-girlfriend. I will walk around and say, I love dunk. What, I like dunking donuts or dunking my biscuit in my tea. Fuck off.
dunking my balls in your mouth. There we go.
Hey.
There's so many ways you can just dunk things.
Yeah. And that actually leads us on to a very good question. What is your favourite biscuit to dunk in your tea?
Ooh, I'm a classic. I like ginger nuts and stuff like that. I don't really like chocolate biscuits, especially not to dunk. Sorry.
No, you
I
can't
like
be,
the chocolate
can't be dunking,
biscuits in
yeah.
the tea. I'm not a fan, but yeah, like a good ginger snap. Yes, they suck up the most liquid.
Can you
Yeah, good
both say hobnob for me?
hobnob.
Hobnob.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Something about a Scottish person saying hobnob.
Hobnob.
It's usually there's been a murder. That's usually what
Yeah, I
Yeah,
usually
they
get
get
that
that.
one. There's been a murder.
it's Taggart, isn't it? One of my mates married a Scottish girl, and my mate's dad, because he loved Taggart so much, he just called her Biscuit all the time after Taggart's boss. It's like, you're right, Biscuit. It's just like, fucking hell. She's called Zoe John. It's like, no, she's Biscuit, fuck off.
Love that.
That's brilliant. That's keeping it real to a whole new level.
Mm.
So I see that you're using orange brushes as well, which just happens to be the sponsors
Right.
of the introduction.
I actually only have two now because someone at the club stole my other one. I have two orange brushes left. They're great. I quite like them.
They are good brushes. What other brands of brushes do you like using? Other brands are available, but
The
introduction.
brands are available. So those ones are the first branded brushes I've brought. I usually just buy these are just like Sable, unbranded Sable
Yeah.
ones that are really cheap. I think I got these out of Static in Glasgow. I think they're only a few pounds. Because I am bad for forgetting that my brushes are in pots of water, and so I ruin them quite regularly. So I tend to not buy expensive ones, but my orange ones I look after. These ones get looked after, and they get like the nice brush shampoo and all that sort of stuff. But no, I'm open to brands of brushes if anyone's listening.
And tell me this: where do you see yourself being as a painter next year? So we talked about the club, but Where do you see yourself in the next year when you're painting?
So I would like my painting next year to. So every year it's kind of came on a little bit more where I've expanded on what I'm doing. So this year I've done a lot of 3D printing, busts and statues and all that sort of stuff. Next year I want to kind of expand on that and start making those into dioramas and stuff like that. So I'd like to work on that side of things, and improve my vision, if you like, when it comes to making stuff like that. Because I struggle to visualize what I want to do with dioramas. I find it's easy to do it like if you're drawing something or you're doing it on 2D, but adding the 3D aspect in it, I find it quite difficult to conceptualize it. So I'd like to work on that. They all kind of look the same when I'm doing them now, so I would like to make it a bit more interesting.
And forgive me if this question's already been asked when I was outside because I was taking my dog out, my puppy out. What do you prefer painting? Do you prefer painting the busts or the miniatures?
I like painting the busts just because I feel like there's not easier, it's just a little bit easier to work on techniques on them. Whereas the little minis, you have to I'm not that great on the little minis. It takes me a long time to paint the smaller ones. Whereas the busts, I feel like I'm more confident with those because I've got more room to mess it up, basically, and more room to correct it if I need to.
Yeah, Tiz said that Tiz was on a few weeks ago, and like she is a good bust painter for being a busty lady. She's a good bust
Yeah.
painter, and I think still in the chat anyway. But yeah, like it's amazing how like when people start moving on to busts, they prefer to start painting the bigger
Mhm.
things.
It's just honestly, I feel like it's a bigger canvas. It's just simply that. There's just more room. But I was saying earlier as well, Casey, that the bigger ones, you can see the mistakes easier as well. So while it is better to kind of have that bigger canvas and learn the techniques, if you mess it up, it draws the eye to it straight away.
And do you plan on going to Warhammer World again this year?
Oh, I'd
Maybe taking the club
love
down?
to. I'd love to. I was hoping to get there in the summer, but I don't know about my plans yet. But if not, I'm definitely going to get down next year early, maybe in February. And if I can get people from the club to come down with it, all the better. That would be great.
I
Like
think that is
Scottish
a
road
big
trip.
thing as well. Like the clubs, they are more than welcoming. I think if you give them enough notice, they'll book tables out for you. They'll make sure that they roll out a little bit of a carpet for
Oh,
you.
that's
So it's always,
amazing.
and it's always nice just to get a group of you down there, isn't it? Rather than just I went on my own when I went, and
Yeah,
it was nice wandering around and
same.
just having a look. But if you've got a group of people, you can make a proper day of it. Then
Yeah. I mean, I met people when I was down there, but it was kind of, I was pure new to everything. I was new to the community and stuff like that as well. So I was kind of terrified, to be honest, when I got there. It was quite overwhelming. But see, now I think it would be great. I think it would be great fun. And it'd be great to just, like, the Scottish are invading, just get a big bus and pile on.
And did you find the assassin when you were there, Casey?
I didn't. No, but at the same time, I couldn't be asked for it. You walk into that room, you see the big thing, and you're like, "That's sick." But it's a dark room as well, and you're just like, "My eyes are shit. I'm not going to stand there for 2 hours trying to find this tiny mini in amongst this. What I can only describe as like
City.
a, a landfill site. It just looked like a landfill site when you walk in there. It's just like they've just piled a load of shit really high, and you're like, "What the fuck?" But it is an impressive bit of work. I will give them that. The whole little gallery and museum-y thing is really impressive.
Yeah,
What do
like
you get?
So,
What do you get if you find the assassin? You just get a pat in the back and a well done.
I think you get like a wee coin and stuff as well, do you know?
don't know, but I've not known anyone say they found it, or if they have, I think they're chatting shit. So maybe, but
I didn't see it. I spent a good while in there, but I didn't come close.
yeah, it's the whole place is really good. I've done a lot of different companies in the UK that are like toy manufacturers and stuff where they've got things on like that. My lad loves trains and stuff, and we went down to the Hornby version of it, which is down on the south coast, like near Dover. He loved it. I thought it was a little underwhelming, but again, the same thing is you go there knowing why you're going there at the end of the day. So, you're not sort of just, it's not like you're walking into a fine art gallery in London. So.
Yeah, that's true.
And on yourself again, right? Now that you're fully fledged into the plastic crack way of life, what's the reaction been from your friends and family? Were they expecting this, or were they a bit shocked that you went full tilt war crack lassie?
So every time we talk about it, my husband's like, I can't believe that you're so into this community. Like, I remember being a kid playing this game, and now the person I'm married to just randomly just found it and ended up in the community. But like, it's kind of, I don't know, they kind of just don't get it. So my friend has no idea what it is that I do, but is like, oh, that's really cool. I like all your paints, and the models look really cool, but she's just a bit like, I don't get it. Like, what do you do this for? Or
Yeah.
who do you do this for type thing. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. See, when people ask me about it, I'm just like, yeah, I paint stuff. I paint miniatures and things like that, and they tend to not ask that many questions, I find. So they're just like, oh, that's really cool, and then don't really go into it, unless it's somebody that has heard of Warhammer, in which case they'll sometimes kind of ask a bit more, some follow-up questions, but most times they're just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, that I can only compare it to my dad collecting stamps, right? To
Yeah.
me, like, he used to break out these huge envelopes and these huge books, and he'd dump all these loose stamps out, and he starts sorting them out and putting them into order of different countries, and it's kind of like, you watch him do that for hours, and you're like, how is that fun? And then as you sit down and I'm painting something, it's like, well, he's probably looking at me thinking, you fucking nerd. But, it's like, he loves a garden. I hate a garden. So it's little things like that, isn't it? Everyone's got their own little weird little niches and stuff.
Yeah, it's that famous thing that Simon Pegg said, that like we're all nerds about something. So like that everybody has that thing that they are nerdy about, like to a degree of, I would sit and do this for 5 hours and be quite happy that no one bothered me. Like, everyone has something like that. So if you can tap into people who are asking you those questions, what their thing is. Usually you can get them to relate to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's it's still difficult for some people to comprehend that you sit and play with toy soldiers or painting things like that. They're just a bit like, God, that's so weird. But they'll sit and watch like an omnibus of EastEnders. So it's kind of subjective, right? So I don't really mind if people find it a bit weird.
Is the EastEnders omnibus still on?
I have
Like, I always remember
no
Sunday
idea,
morning.
actually. I have no idea. I don't know.
I said, my mum used to watch EastEnders on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and then rewatch it on a Sunday. And I'm like,
Oh,
but
God.
why you've literally just watched. And then my mum watches old EastEnders and TV Gold. It's like, but why? But then I catch myself watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia for the 15th time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do the same. Rewatch old shows. We're just not doing it in omnibus style. We're binging it instead. It's the same thing.
Yeah. That is.
I remember as a kid, again, like, if my mum was at home, because she always used to work with random hours, you'd get Emmerdale, Coronation Street, EastEnders, or whatever order it was on. You'd jump around the channels, you'd watch all three of them, and you would sit there thinking, this is trash.
Mm.
But then I kind of appreciate Coronation Street now a little bit more, and I don't know, like, when I got together with my girlfriend, she used to watch Corrie and Emmerdale every week, every day, every week without fail. And she's sort of slowly coming off them now, which is a shame. Because when I started watching Coronation Street with her, there was a bloke who was murdering people left, right, and centre. He buried someone in foundations. He had a bloke locked in his basement. He shot his daughter. There was all this madness of it. And I was like, this is the best show in the world. And then they killed him off and it went to pot.
Proper
When all of that
grimdark.
stuff, it's like proper mad. And I was there for it. I was like, okay, I understand why you watch this stuff now. And then when he died, it was like, oh, this is rubbish.
It's like
No.
we all started watching Hollyoaks. I liked Hollyoaks back in the day.
Yes.
I remember watching Hollyoaks, yeah.
And then I think as we get older,
Yeah.
then the training wheels come off, and then we start watching EastEnders. And I remember, like, back in the day, my mum would watch Emmerdale Farm. It was Emmerdale Farm at the time. Emmerdale Farm, Coronation Street, and then depending on what day it was either like EastEnders or Brookside.
Oh, Brookside. God, remember when Trevor was under the patio? That
Yeah.
was. I remember being traumatized by that as a kid.
The thing with Brookside was they actually did some quite risky. Obviously, it was Channel 4, but they did some quite risky storylines. Like, I remember them, obviously, the man under the patio, you had the first lesbian kiss with Anna Friel,
Yeah.
and then you had the siblings banging each other, the brother and sister shagging each other.
Oh,
as well.
God, yeah. Oh, wow, I forgot about that. Eat your heart out, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Brookside did it first.
Oh,
Take the
high road.
high road.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember Take the High Road.
Is that a Scottish one? Because I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
I'm
as Scottish as it gets.
I'm just jumping in there with both feet. Like, is this some Scottish bullshit? But at the same time,
Remember, there's two of us here now.
Yeah,
it won't stop me. You're miles away from me.
Yeah. I'm not really that bothered to make the effort.
No,
yeah,
they
but
won't.
And I'll take that.
I've not watched EastEnders or Corrie in years, but then I was like, I've got the television on in the background, and like EastEnders was on, and it was like, Phil Mitchell's still bald, Ian Beale is still on in a chippy, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's EastEnders got rubbish since Danny Dyer left, so don't bother.
right. Was
It's even the fact that it's even that Danny Dyer got in EastEnders. Like I can't remember what he was on. I think it might have been like 8 out of 10 cats. And they asked him, "Why are you on EastEnders now?" He's like, "Because they're getting beaten by a fucking farm, bruv." It's like, oh shit, fair enough.
decent paycheck. Right, folks, I think it's now time to wrap it there because I am getting the eye off the dog here. I think she needs back out. Fucking puppy training, man. It's a fucking
We'll have another
but yeah, Kim,
maybe.
have you got kids yourself, Kim?
I've got, well, one of them is 21 this year and the other one's 11, so they're up a bit. Not babies anymore.
Yeah, I've got a 30-year-old and I'm down to 18, so I've got 4 kids, from 30 down to 18. So Casey's proper thoughts.
He's 6 and he's an arsehole.
Oh, that's the prime age for arseholery.
Only just 6. But I tell you what, he chats to me like he's 22, and sometimes I sit there and look at him like, you were a bit fucking older and you weren't my child. But No. So
That's me
I
involved.
don't hit my child.
So
Oh yeah.
you're saying to you, Kim,
It was great to have you chat with you guys. I had great fun.
we would love to have you back on later on in the year for a catch up. We're going to try and get more people back on so they don't think that we've forgotten about them and just like a kind of one and done, like most of Casey's conquest back in London back in the day.
JK.
But we'd love to have you back on. But before we go, anybody you want to give a shout out to or anything that you would like to plug before we go?
Yes, so I would like everybody to go and follow the ACVC Hub. That is where I have my hobby club, the Glasgow Hobby Clan. Definitely follow both of us. I update on there. We have a Discord section. If you want that, I can give you links to that. Just give me a message. But definitely go follow the ACVC Hub on Facebook and Instagram and all the social media places, all those different places first, because they are very important to me and they're important to our community, and I would like to everybody to know that.
Brilliant, because there is like we've had like SJ Paints Flair, she's in about Glasgow as well. We've got
Oh,
Ryan, so like the more people that kind of spread the word, you might get some new faces
absolutely.
down there as well. And SJ is such a nice lassie, like she's got a wide variety of different games as well. So yeah,
That's
that sounds.
brilliant.
Yeah, and we'll definitely give you a wee push for the other page as well once I get this uploaded. Because we'll get this uploaded onto YouTube within the next 4 years, and then onto Spotify within the next 10 years. And yeah, we'll give you a wee push out later on tonight or tomorrow for the club.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. I
Uh,
really appreciate it.
Here, man, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Like, it's been good to speak to a lassie from Scotland. Still speak to my wife. I
It's awesome
can
to be
safely say
here.
that 'cause she's not actually in the house, so it's all good. Casey, before we go, you any words of wisdom this week?
No.
There we go, folks, for the 10th week in a row. Nah. Folks, we are back next week with a guest who I can't remember their name because it's next week. It's actually Ryan. It's actually another
Yeah.
Scots coming
Paint
back
Party
on.
Scott.
Paint
It's
Party
one of
Scott's coming on next
Scots.
week. He's the current Inquisition champion for his second show, but third viewing on the Inquisition. And then I'm away on holiday in case he's got a special guest planned, which he'll probably cancel.
Yeah. For the life of me, I can't remember his handle on here, but he's called Ian. He scratch builds terrain, and they all look absolutely bloody mustard. So I'm excited to have him on.
Folks, we'll see you all next week. Thanks again for coming on, Kim. Have a great rest of the week, folks, and I'll see you next week. Love you, bye.
Bye.
Toodaloo, guys.